Secretary of the National Peace Committee and Catholic Bishop of Sokoto, Matthew Kuka, is calling on political parties and their supporters to play by the rules in the June 18 Ekiti governorship poll. Kuka made the call in Ekiti, the Ekiti state capital, during the signing of a peace accord by political parties and their candidates that are taking part in the election on Saturday.
The 2022 Ekiti state governorship election gets underway this Saturday. And with the signing of the peace accord by political parties and their candidates, the National Peace Committee appeals to the contenders to prioritize peace.
We again appeal to all the political actors to ensure that they do not see the signing of the peace accord as a mere formality and a photo opportunity. May the friendship exhibited here follow you through the elections. And please note that at the National Peace Committee, we are exploring the possibilities of strengthening this accord so that those who sign it appreciate the weight, the consequences of their breaches.
The electoral body continues to give assurances of a free, fair, credible and inclusive election.
I wish to assure the Peace Committee of our commitment to transparent and credible elections. Working for the last 12 months, since June 2021, when we released the timetable for the Ekiti governorship election, it is inconceivable that INEC will undermine itself, especially on election day and beyond. I want to assure you all that the votes of the Ekiti people will count.
Some of the candidates expressed confidence in the ability of the Independent National Electoral Commission to conduct a free and fair election, while some expressed concern on election security.
I want to believe that having signed the accord, not for documentary sake, and having physical handshake with everyone, we hope for a better Ekiti and a peaceful one on Saturday.
I'm just pleading with the military and paramilitary and those who are supposed to protect lives and property to be up and doing. This time is so sensitive. Everybody is scared, and we're just praying that the fear would not, scare the electorate away from the polling units.
The Ekiti state election is the first governorship poll that the Independent National Electoral Commission will be conducting based on the provisions of the new Electoral Act 2022.
Well, let's cross live to Ekiti and speak to our correspondents, Oba Adeoye and Niyi Oyelowo. Thank you both for being on the ground and being our eyes for this election. And tell us, Saturday will probably be the true test of readiness for INEC. We'll be able to judge better on that day. But so far, what have you seen on ground, guys?
All right, Oi, Adeoye, it's good to have you. We just arrived not too long ago. We spent the better half of for the past 1 hour thereabout looking for hotels. I can tell you the city is agog with the electoral mood, as it were. But I'll bring in Oba Adeoye to give us more insight on this. Oba, just as we came in, we saw quite a number of security outfits. I think by the time at one point we were passing through the INEC headquarters as well. So what do you think, how would you assess this preparedness?
Yes, based on what we see, what we have seen so far, we can see that all the major stakeholders in this election are getting prepared for the big day, which is Saturday. When we came to this town, our first point of call was the INEC Secretariat. That's the election management body, and when we got there, we saw some uniformed men. We saw a lot of activities going on there. Some independent observers being accredited, being given their tags in preparation for Saturday's event, and we saw soldiers, policemen, and men of the NCDC as well. We also saw some INEC officials, busy going from one point to another, trying to, dot the I's and cross the T's ahead of Saturday. And leaving INEC office, we came to town. We realized that even there are, some pockets of political activities going on here and there. We saw posters littering the entire state capital, which is Ekiti, before we came down to Ikere Road, where we are right now, and we saw some trucks, some buses, some branded buses, and some branded cars coming from different parts of the state, apparently where they had gone to campaign, for the voters, support on Saturday. Don't forget that yesterday the APC, that's the ruling party here in Ekiti State, had its grand rally yesterday, Tuesday, where its candidate, the one they call BAO, that's Abiodun Yebanji, was presented to the people of Ekiti as the flag bearer of the party, and for whom the party wants, the people to elect him as the next governor of the state. We also saw major contenders in the election. We saw their posters all around, and we interacted with some of their followers in town. Segun Oni of the SDP, Bisikola Ole of the PDP. Those are the major three contenders in this election, and we saw their followers all around town, trying to create awareness for their respective candidates. And I can tell you that, like you said, the city is agog, the state is agog. There's a frenzy around town, and just a moment ago, before we came to this point in time, we saw some military men doing stop and search for vehicles and motorcycles alike, trying to see what they carry, and as they move from one point to the other in town. It's all about ensuring that there's watertight security ahead of Saturday. So all in all, I think the city, the state generally is prepared for this election.
Very good, Oba. And some have said this is most likely going to be a very keenly contested election, despite the fact that it's an off-season one, but it's also going to be a litmus test for the general elections next year. So, and it's often said that it might just be like a three-pronged approach towards the elections between the 3 or 4 major contenders, but realistically maybe like 3 strong ones, as it were. So how would you describe the build-up towards this moment and towards Saturday, as it were?
All right, now you don't forget that this will be the first major election that will be conducted in this country after the passage of the electoral law by Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari. So this election is going to stand as a kind of debut election for the electoral law. We're going to see how it's going to play out. All that we've been talking about is in the theoretical space. Now, I want to bring it to life. We want to see how things are going to play out, on Saturday, vis-a-vis the new electoral law in town. So for me, my fingers are crossed, and I know many followers of political development in this part of the world are also looking forward to Saturday and looking forward to how the election will be conducted, particularly the transmission of election results. You remember that particular part of the electoral law became a very contentious issue at both the 2 chambers of the National Assembly, both the Senate and the House of Reps. So we'll wait to see how that plays out on Saturday. We'll wait to see how the politicians are going to comport themselves. We'll wait to see if indeed we are still going to witness something like a cash and carry kind of vote, like you remember they did. I think it was in a southwestern state during an election like this, and they were shouting "Edibo Esebe, Edibo Esebe," meaning vote and prepare a pot of soup. We want to see if that is going to play out this Saturday in Ekiti. Don't forget that in Anambra State we saw that a vote went for as high as 5,000 naira. Politicians were paying as much as 5,000 naira to the electorate to vote for them. We want to see if that will play out this time, and we are on ground to bring our viewers up to speed.
And hopefully it will be a hitch-free election, as it were, and we'll be on ground to give more details on that. So that's how it has been. Oyi Adeoye, back to you.
Thank you very much, Niyi Oyelowo there, and Oba Adeoye live from Ekiti on ground, of course, ahead of the elections on Saturday.